Hi, my name is Zoe. I'm 23 years old and I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. All right, hello and welcome to the first installment of Zoe talks about things that's on her mind while she's doing her makeup or vlogging or eating or doing whatever. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if anyone else in their young 20s feels like this, but lately I have been feeling so rudderless, and I guess we'll get more into it when I start doing my makeup, which is what we're gonna be doing today, a little get ready with me. Let's just get into it. So today we're just gonna do a nice natural look as I talk about my issues. So most of the people watching this video right now, if there are any of you, hi, hello. Most of the people who watch this account are people that I have met and befriended on TikTok. I feel like it was an amazing outlet for me when COVID was at its peak and I was all alone in my dorm room. I feel like Discord and TikTok really changed the game for me because it was just really fun to meet people online and get a sense of community through that. And then I graduated in 2021, so COVID was still very present. People still weren't really traveling, and if you were traveling, people were judging you. Overall, it still was a really weird time in the world. I live in Canada, and it's really common for people in Canada to spend 5 or 6 years in university, and it felt really isolating when the 2021 fall term came around because everyone was starting to go back to school, and because COVID was starting to lighten up a little bit, people were starting to have fun again and they were going to parties, and I kind of felt a little bit cheated out of the university college experience. I was kind of questioning why I worked so hard to finish in 4 years because I didn't really get to reap the same benefits as the people who did choose to take 5 or 6 years. Editing me here, so I feel like I didn't really explain this very well, but TikTok was really fulfilling while I was in the midst of COVID and I was all alone and there was truly nothing else to do. Now that everyone else is returning to their normal lives and stuff, I've been having a really hard time trying to strike a balance between what brought me joy during COVID and what brings me joy after. When I compare myself to other people who seem to be seamlessly transitioning out of their COVID quarantine life and into their regular social lives, it feels like I must be doing something wrong. And I know one of the reasons it's so easy for other people to matriculate back into society is because school and education makes it so easy to have these built-in activities, built-in friends, stuff like that. Now that I no longer have that school setting to lean on, I basically have to be rebuilding from scratch post-COVID without any of these built-in supports put in place, which has been so much of a struggle, especially considering your 20s is already this massive struggle bus without this. Cut to now. I am now 23 years old. I have been working for about a year and a half now, and I have no clue what I'm doing with my life. I recognize that I have a ton of privilege being able to even say that I have my own apartment and I have a job, So this isn't to say that like I'm in the worst position in the world or that life is treating me poorly by any means. I think from where I'm coming from, it just seems so hard to find a sense of direction right now. I don't know if anyone else feels like this, particularly people who like prioritize school a lot growing up. There's always something to look forward to when you're in school. And they always keep you super, super busy, whether that be with exams or projects or social events like homecoming or prom and all that kind of stuff. And for me personally, now that I don't have those things to look forward to, you have to start creating events to be excited about. And for me personally, I have been struggling with that so much. I feel like in school you have all of these built-in friends, but now that some of my friends are pursuing grad school, some of them are working full-time, some of them are like getting married, some of them are getting engaged. Everyone's in like completely different life points. It becomes a lot harder to not only like physically coordinate everyone getting together at the same time, but just generally like it's more difficult to talk about things. And that's really hard because like it makes you feel like you have no friends, even though like there's so many people who love and support you, but realistically like they aren't experiencing the same life issues that you are at the same time that you are. Like, so you don't have that like solidarity with one another. It can be really tricky to navigate, and it can make you feel like you're really alone. I think something else that I have really found to be a struggle recently as well, that I recently went through a very tumultuous breakup. I'll do a full video on that. I thought that that person was going to be my life partner. We had been together since the beginning of high school. It really felt like all of the memories and growth I had done had some level of proximity to this person, and all of the plans that I had they're completely overthrown, right? You spend 8 years compromising and saying like, oh, this is something we want, this is what's best for us. It's really hard to start to re-centralize yourself and question, like, in the barest, most essential, selfish way, what do I want? And that's a question that I have been struggling to answer for like the last few months that we've been broken up. It is so hard to put myself first. My job right now is currently a nurse, so it's like both in my personal and professional life, my literal job is to put others before myself. It's really difficult to figure out like, what do I want? Just what do I want, right? My ex and I also had all of these plans for the future, like the way most people do, talking about where we want to go for vacation and what our plans are for the future, where we want to settle down, stuff like that. And when you're in the middle of planning those things and the person you're planning them with suddenly just like disappears into the ethos, it's kind of difficult to figure out plans you still want to carry through. I always really wanted to go to Japan, and I know that my ex-partner, he always wanted to go to Japan as well. He wasn't in a financially stable situation. We were always like, okay, we'll go for our honeymoon. We'll wait until we're both financially stable enough to go, stuff like that. And now that he's gone, it's like nothing's holding me back. Nothing's stopping me from just going to Japan if I want to. And that liberation is scary. Like, there can be security in something holding you back, because then you have an excuse when things don't necessarily go the way that you want to. Have a reason for when you're like disappointed or something like that. And now there's no excuses, there's no reasons, there's no one to lean on, there's no safety net. Any decision that I want to make is mine and mine alone, and whatever consequences that come with that are solely my responsibility. And that is like absolutely horrifying to think about in both the short-term and long-term sense of it. There's also this weird sense of like financial liberation, and then also realizing that you're a cog in the capitalist wheel. Now that I'm making my own money and I have some level of livable income and I'm completely financially independent from my parents, it's this very weird state of like, you have money that you can do whatever you want with, but at the same time, like, you're never going to make enough money to be able to pay for a house by yourself. And it's like, it's really weird to have to conceptualize the idea that even though now, like, if I wanted to just hop on a plane to New York next week, I could. I might be renting for the rest of my life if I don't get financial aid from like, either like from a partner or from my parents or anything like that. Like, it's really weird to conceptualize the idea that like there's so much financial freedom in the decisions that I'm making, but also like there's truly no financial independence because financial independence doesn't exist. Knowing that those long-term goals, like buying a condo or getting a nice car or things like that, feel like they're so far away and out of reach, it is hard to feel excited for the future. The same way that the like short-term goals in school make you feel. All of this isn't to say that like I'm not enjoying my life, because I am really enjoying working, and I personally like working a lot more than being in school. We found the tests and the exams and the competition and culture surrounding school and education so stressful. The stability of working is a lot better for my mental health. So this isn't to say that like I have a bad life or I'm not enjoying myself. I definitely am enjoying my life, and the stability of work is great, and the financial freedom is great as well. It's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. If anyone else feels the same way, I would love for you to join me in the process of trying to figure it out. We can try to figure it out together. I think it is a really difficult thing to navigate, and I don't know how many people really talk about it. I feel like I see a ton of people, they go straight into a marriage and motherhood, or they are just like truly living it up with like drinking and partying. And I don't know if I see a lot of content of the 20-somethings who aren't really ready to settle down, but are also not really looking for the single life and the drinking and the partying and stuff like that. Like, I just don't think I see a lot of content of people who are just kind of trying to figure it out, but aren't really, I don't know, just like there's no real discernible direction right now. But anyway, yeah, that's the first video. In the next video, I will probably talk about my breakup. If any of you feel the same way, go ahead and subscribe. This is mainly just like a video diary for myself, but I know that there's other people out there who feel the same way that I do. So it would be great if we could all get together, chat, hang out, and just kind of find a little bit of direction with time together. So yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.